Are you a solopreneur looking to 2 times your revenue to fund your lifestyle and give back? Well, this podcast is for you. We bring you inspirational guests sharing actionable tips to solve many of the struggles you face each and every day. And now over to your host, Paul Higgins.
Hello to the Build, Live, Give Solo podcast. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. And if you're a regular, thanks for your support. Love to get your feedback. Just email me at paul@buildlivegive.com. So today's topic is about picking your ideal clients. So what you will learn is why it is so important, a template for you to use to define it, how to rate your ideal client, and how to apply it to gain more leads and ultimately more clients. All the links in this show will be in the show notes at buildlivegive.com/podcast. All topics relate to our 5 rapid growth drivers, and you can get them at buildlivegive.com/drivers. So I want to give you a bit of context as to why I think this is so important. So I get a lot of people come to me to help them with their LinkedIn posting. And I always ask them, what's the first place people will go after they read your post? And they say, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I said, well, obviously it's your profile. You know, think about the last time you did business with someone and didn't go to their LinkedIn profile before you actually did work. And also these days, most people search your name, the LinkedIn profile will actually be above your own website. So it's really important to nail that profile. And what most people do is they write their profile to cater for, maybe 1 million people, maybe in some cases even 1 billion people. It's so generic and it really doesn't help people understand exactly who you help and how you help them. And what I'd love to do is get you to write your ideal client profile on LinkedIn, and most importantly, when you're doing other marketing material, as if you are actually selling to a couple of rows in a sports stadium. Because, the old analogy of only needing 1,000 fans, it's pretty true in a business. If you're a solopreneur running your own business, it's pretty true there as well. So I'll just give you a quick example. So Scott Gallatly is co-founder of Scale My Empire, and he was across so many verticals, and it really challenged him. The first thing is that cost him a lot of research, both in time, or mainly in time, to actually research all these verticals. He was in legal, he was in finance, he was in marketing. There was just so many different, and he had to constantly update his marketing because he'd focus a little bit, get a bit of traction, and then he'd swap, and his website never made sense to whoever he was targeting. And also it took him an enormous amount of time to understand the industry, the norms, the connections, the way they talk, the key issues, and every time he pivoted and changed, he lost a lot of that benefit. And I always said to him, look, a confused buyer never buys. So how do we help Scott, and how have we helped other solopreneurs? So the first thing is use a template to define your ideal client. So I've got it in the show notes. And what I'll do is take you through exactly all the questions you need to ask to define your ideal client. And it will, certainly help with your LinkedIn posting, because what I do is that every time I go to do a LinkedIn post, I get that file out and I say, that's the person that I'm actually writing this post to. And there's another great example is by John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire, or EOF. And I'll also have the link in the show notes for you there. The second thing is we got him to really define his cohort. So he picked one vertical, and it was actually digital agencies, and then he went out and tested his hypothesis. So he didn't go out and sell, he just went out and spoke to people about, are his hypothesis or is his hypothesis correct? And another great place to do this is through Facebook groups or other industry groups where people hang out in the cohort that you're after. The next thing you can do is take notes in sales calls to build and constantly refine the profile. It's not a set and forget. You can constantly improve it. And the fourth thing we did with Scott, and I do with lots of solopreneurs that I work with, is to rate future clients. So back in the Coke days, we used to rate where we'd place, say, a vending machine and give a score out of 100. Very similar thing. So what we've done is just created our questions that we rate people out of 100. If they're above a 75, we'll work with them. If not, we'll recommend them go work with somebody else. But it really helps you because you know that there's nothing worse that you get into a relationship with a client and they're just not the right fit for you, or you can't add value. You can't get them a result. So isn't that much better to know up front? So what I'll do is give that template in the show notes as well. So before we close up, I'd just like to talk about my new book called Build, Live, Give. I go through lessons I learned from leaving Coca-Cola to run my own business, how I scaled and how I kept it going whilst going through my transplant. I'll give you the 5 growth drivers which I use to help hundreds of solopreneurs to build, live and give, just like Scott I mentioned before. So go to buildlivegive.com/book to get your copy today. There will also be a link in the show notes. So what are the 3 key actions I want you to take from today? 1 is to go and download the ideal client template and create your own version. 2 is create your ideal client rating. And then the 3rd thing is constantly update it. And if you want to send me it and get some feedback, just send it to me at paul@buildlivegive.com. I'll be more than happy to give you some feedback. So all of this will be in the show notes and you can get those at buildlivegive.com/podcast. Please take action to build new revenue streams to fund your lifestyle and give back.
Thank you for listening to the Build, Live, Give podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review. It would mean the world to us.